All right, it's 7:01 and we will call to order the city council meeting for June 24th, 2024. Visual roll call. We are missing council member Andori, but he has an excused absence today. But I'll take a quick roll call. Councilmember McCormick,
Present.
Councilmember Candell, present. Vice Mayor Kwok,
Present.
and I am present, Mayor Dawson. So we will move to the adoption of agenda.
I move we adopt the agenda.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
I am an aye, so the agenda is adopted for tonight. And we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. David Clark, if you could do that for us, that would be wonderful.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and now is the time for public comments for items not on the agenda. And again, these are public comments not on the agenda, but within the city's jurisdiction.
Mayor Dawson, we will take public comments on item 6, and we'll take persons in the meeting room first, and then we will take persons participating via the webinar.
Good.
You're not first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a process. Our first speaker is Mike Hayes.
Thank you. Good evening, council members. My name is Mike Hughes, and I am a professional broadcaster. I've been a resident and business owner in Lafayette for over 25 years. As a stakeholder deeply invested in our community, I'm here to discuss the untapped potential of the Experience Lafayette website. The Experience Lafayette website, sponsored by the city, provides a valuable directory for local businesses. However, it's underutilized. I've gotten no responses. As a two-time Peabody Award-winning documentarian and a researcher collaborating with Oxford University's business programs, I've studied how narrative storytelling can enhance the community engagement and economic growth. Under the mentorship of Professor Eero Vara, the world's foremost business strategist, whose narrative storytelling strategy transformed Espoo, Finland into the most sustainable city in Europe. I believe we can apply similar principles here. I propose that the city host regular business networking events. I'd be happy to help promote them to showcase Experience Lafayette website and the businesses featured on it. These events can foster connections, drive local commerce, and increase the visibility of our businesses. By leveraging this platform, we can create a more vibrant and interconnected business community. By making better use of Experience Lafayette website and organizing these events, we can support our local businesses, encourage community engagement, and strengthen our local economy. I urge the council to consider this volunteer initiative to benefit all stakeholders in Lafayette. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Our next speaker is Lisa Disbrow.
Good evening. Nice to see everybody. I want to talk. I'm Lisa Disbrow. I'm the head of the MAGA Overpass group, and I want to address the state property no dumping sign. I think you guys did a terrible job. I'm going to go through the codes, and you may come to the same conclusion I have, that you could have done better. So the state Streets and Highways Code 660 does define encroachment, any tower, pole, pipeline, fence, billboard, but it doesn't reference the federal court injunction from Judge White in 2003. Code 670, the department may issue permits to excavate, place advertising signs, plant or remove shrubs. We're not interested. 374.0, no littering, dead animals, flaming material. Again, not interested. 374.2, unlawful to dump dangerous substances. None of that has happened. There has been graffiti, and Mayor Dawson, you referenced that back in 221, and I wish you guys would follow up on that. And then 374.3 doesn't exist. 374.4, unlawful to litter public or private property. We agree, and we always clean up. 602M, entering or occupying property or structures without the consent of the owner. Isn't that weird? No one has done anything like that. There are no structures on the overpass. And then 647.C, willful, malicious obstruction of movement. Recently, I had a car obstruct my movement. It was very threatening. That's the only time. And then I wanted to get into, since I have 1 minute here, on May 27th, I had a Memorial Day event. Was widely and enthusiastically appreciated by locals and people on the freeway. And then 4 days later, Trump derangement syndrome hit. 34 convictions, and I decorated the overpass with flags upside down, which is a legitimate signal of distress. And within 2 hours, I had Caltrans telling me that they were getting complaints. I recorded the entire conversation. So a complaint from another American canceled my free speech. I will just tell you that I cried, and I've never been up there when anything like that has happened. And what's interesting is that on the same location with the same flags, 4 days later, my rights were violated by you guys.
Thank you, Lisa. I just want to point out that the El Cotola Bridge is the property and the jurisdiction of the state of California. Any more public comment?
Our next speaker is David Platter.
My name is David Platter. I live off of Spring Hill on Blackhawk Road. Been there 35 years. Love Lafayette. The reason I'm down here is just to bring your attention to something that you might not have seen. I've read just about everything that's existed on the internet, and I found the best information comes from the Ivy School Leagues. They do a great deal on pollution and on the need to get rid of it. If you look at our area, if it is making this decision to switch from, by the way, you're not changing the machinery, the blowing machinery that you use to, you're simply changing the instrument to make it work. In other words, you're changing from the gas to lithium batteries, which seems like a very easy thing to dictate. But on the other hand, there are things that you probably don't aware of. Number one, according to the Wall Street Journal, lithium batteries are much more dangerous than oil fuel. The second thing is that it causes all kinds of mischief. For example, like explosion. They have had 660 explosions between New York City and San Francisco. And what happens to it? Well, if you change the heat radically, it will combine and you have a bomb. I know the people from Duracell, this regional manager, and he says, we're not getting into it because it is a bomb. They're trying to work on a new one. It's called the PO4, but the one you have now is dangerous. But actually, it causes all kinds of things like brain tumors. It's carcinogenic. I'm talking about if it leaks. And the people that work on these things are really professionals. They come in and they do your yard. I help them because it's constantly falling on trees. You say, well, why is that important? Isn't that just cosmetic? No, it's very important. We have had insurance companies, all of them, the big ones, come in and ascertain up the Spring Hill Road. And many of the units on the houses have lost their insurance. Now, think about this for a minute. If you're going to sell your house, who are you going to sell it to? Most likely someone has to get a mortgage. If you can't get a mortgage because you can't get insurance, your opportunity to sell the house is greatly diminished on this thing. I think Susan is involved in real estate, so you understand, you agree with that. But the thing that bothers me the most, I'm 95, my wife is 90, is that a lot of the places in Lafayette are basically fire traps. And certainly up Spring Hill Road is one of the biggest ones. We have to keep it exactly clean, not only don't want to lose insurance, but if you've ever seen fire,
Mr. Platter, sorry, your 3 minutes is up. Can you wrap up very succinctly or
okay,
a couple more seconds?
all right, how to wrap it up real quickly. It's a death trap.
Okay.
And if you get caught in it, you can't get out. And human life is important.
Yes.
I hope you reconsider it and do two things. One, maybe have a hiatus on this thing that starts the 1st of January and take a look at it for the next 3 months. There are
Yes.
cities in the United States that have tried it and now are abandoning it.
Thank you.
You
Thank
bet.
you for coming out tonight.
Don't want to leave my keys, then I'll be here alone.
Yeah.
Our next speaker is David Clark.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Clark, this is quick, and I don't think this is on the agenda tonight, but if you think it is, I'll wait until maybe item 10. But as a general comment with respect to the sales tax, I meant to make this last meeting and couldn't handle the buttons quickly.
David, that'll be a part of could be part of,
You want to wait till then?
pardon?
You want to wait till then?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll put you down for item 10A. If there's anyone in our virtual audience that would like to make a comment at this point, please raise your hand. I see none. Mayor Dawson, there are no further speakers.
Thank you. All right, with that, we will move on to item 7, the city manager's update.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I have a brief update from the Engineering and Public Works Department. Lots of projects underway, a lot of lane closures, so please slow down. The main paving project in the Release Valley area is underway. And the demolition and concrete work for the raised crosswalk at Pleasant Hill Road and Spring Hill Road has begun. And the Public Works crew has been installing fire-wise signs for neighborhoods that have been certified. So far, we've posted signs for 5 new neighborhoods. As you know, we have 19 of them to date, so you'll see more of them going up. And maintenance work is ongoing here at the library as well. The siding has to be refinished. A heads up that tomorrow there'll be a road closure, road work on Acalanes Road and Glorieta Boulevard. It will take place between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. From the police department, the safety fair was held at the Lafayette Reservoir last Saturday. It was well attended. I believe Council Member McCormick was there. Police report that they had good attendance between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., but not as many people as expected due to the high heat. That's all I have. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Are there questions? Are there any questions from the public on the report?
Mayor Dawson, I have no speaker slips and I have no hands raised.
Thank you. All right. Item 9, the consent calendar. Council members wish to pull anything from the calendar? Are there any comments from the public?
No persons in the meeting hall or no hands raised in our virtual audience.
Okay,
I move we adopt the consent calendar.
Second.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm an aye. The consent calendar is adopted. And we will now go to old business, which is a report from Tracy Robinson, our Administrative Services Director.
Okay, I don't have anything to add. This is just a listing of the key dates that the council needs to keep in mind as it considers potential ballot measure. So basically we have until August 9th. The council has until August 9th to actually send in the paperwork. I know that the county actually prefers to have it sooner. So that gives the council 3 meetings to consider this, including tonight's meeting. 2 meetings after tonight, yeah. So July 8th and July 22nd. We will have some additional information at the July 8th meeting regarding a tracking poll that we're doing. So really, this is just more of an informational. This is more informational. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. That's helpful to have the dates in mind as we consider this. Are there any questions from council? No? Any public comment?
Mayor Dawson, yes, I have a public comment here. David Clark. And if anyone else would like to make a comment on item 10A, please pick a speaker slip up and fill it out or raise your virtual hand. Thank you.
I think this item, obviously, we've talked about this quite a bit. And I think there's a toggle switch with respect to the sales tax, which is we have control over whether it's going to be a 50%, well, 50% plus 1, or whatever it is, 60%, 2/3. If you've reached that decision, I mean, it seems to me it's sort of obvious that we're moving forward with the 50 plus 1. I'd make that public. I'd include that in my suggestion would be including that in the description of the provision when it comes up in various places throughout the city, because that's easier to attain than the 2/3 is. And I think you might get a more positive response. Might get a better response from the public just if we disclose that up front. Because I think I'm right about that there are those two ways to approach it. And now if you haven't reached that conclusion, then that's a different story. But it seems to me that since we're raising the money to use in the general fund, that's the 50% plus 1 route, and we might as well just get it out there because I think it's part of the package as it stands now. But that would be my suggestion.
Thank you.
Mayor Dawson, I have no additional speakers at this time.
Thank you. We will move on to public hearing. City manager. Taking the lead on that, or Tracy?
Okay, basically, this is the budget that you considered at your last meeting. I did make the changes that the council approved at the last meeting. So those were only 2. We released the rest of the ARPA money, which is $1.99 million, into the general fund for use. We added $48,000 to the budget for crossing guards just for this year. There were no other changes. I have changed the PDF in the budget, reflects both of those changes. So just wanted to be clear about that. There's sort of 2 letters in there now. One is that it's reflected, and the second one is just the original memo, which lays out what the issues are, because I felt like it was important to keep that as part of the discussion. So, and I believe there might be a small correction on the resolution. I think it says CEQA, it might say 22-23. It just needs to be 23-24. We can make that change.
Okay, thanks for that. Are there questions from council on this? Okay, just to reiterate, we did have this conversation as our finances director pointed out at our last city council meeting for the 2024-2025 budget. And those modifications look like they are in the budget. Thank you for that. If there are no questions, then I will ask for public comment. And I guess open the public hearing and ask for public comment.
The mayor has opened the public hearing for item 12A. I have one speaker slip for persons in the hall. I have no hands raised at this time. So if you'd like to speak on this item, please turn in a speaker slip or raise your hand. Our first speaker is Mike Hayes.
Thank you. Good evening again, council members. As a concerned resident and business owner, I'm here to discuss the city's $2 million deficit and present a solution that incorporates the Experience Lafayette website. Through my research and collaboration with Oxford University's business strategists, including my mentor, Professor Eero Vara, and my neighbor and Oxford MBA graduate, Nakul Thomas, I've identified strategic narrative storytelling as a powerful tool for economic solutions. Professor Vara's narrative storytelling strategy, which transformed Espoo, Finland into the most sustainable city in Europe, can help Lafayette not only recover from the $2 million deficit, but also become a world model of ideal cities in the age of artificial intelligence. Let's love Lafayette by making it AI strong with volunteer help. Utilizing the Experience Lafayette website as a central hub, we can implement a narrative storytelling strategy to promote our local businesses and attract new ones. Here's how. Networking and storytelling campaigns with AI or without it. Launch campaigns highlighting the success stories of Lafayette businesses and showing how they contribute to the community and economy. Networking events. Organize regular events, as mentioned earlier, to drive engagement and commerce. Partnerships. Form partnerships with local media, schools, universities, and organizations to broaden the reach and impact of sharing these stories. Community involvement. Engage residents in the process beyond just businesses in the community, encouraging them to support local businesses and participate in community events. By driving more business activity and fostering a supportive community environment, we can increase local revenue streams and address the deficit with AI education events like the Senior Symposium. I will continue urging the council by email and attendance at council meetings to consider this comprehensive approach to address the deficit and enhance our community's prosperity, potentially transforming Lafayette into an AI-strong model city in the age of artificial intelligence. Please see my handouts for more details. Thank you very much.
I have a question, Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, we did get your emails, so I appreciate all this. Can you point, is there another city that has done something like this that's good that you could point to their website and go, this is kind of what I'm talking about?
Espoo, Finland.
Okay, how do you spell that?
At ESPOO. And this is proven by surveys and research.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Dawson, there are no additional speakers on this.
Wait, wait.
Thank you, Stella. Yeah, no problem. Stella Witherspoon.
Thank you. Good evening, council. And thank you, Joanne, for accepting my speaker slip where all I got was my first name on it. Thank you. I just wanted to thank you for your vote last time, June 10th, to support the school district's request for assistance with the crossing guard program. I was here 5 years ago, I think in 2019, requesting the same thing of a previous council. And I mean, we all know it's really important, but it really is critically important. We want to have these kids walking and biking to school. We want those cars off of the road, especially at that morning and afternoon crush. It's so dangerous. We know we've had incidents, numerous incidents, going back as far as when I first moved here in 2014. So it's really, really, really critical, and I appreciate your support. And I want to say I really agree with Councilmember McCormick's comments that perhaps the city should be at the table with the school district and the contracting company to really talk about the level of service, the cost, to make sure that it's a mutually agreeable, satisfactory agreement. I know when I was a parent at Spring Hill Elementary, going back to 2018, there were a number of days when there was an unstaffed station. And that was really distressing and it was hard to resolve. So there's service issue questions that I know I have. I'm not confident that they've completely been resolved. I know that there's been staffing issues, hiring constraints. So it's just, I think, really important for the city to be aware of everything related to that program, especially when the costs keep rising and you're being asked to participate in that. So thank you.
David Clark.
Thank you, Joanne. I don't see it. I don't have my copy of the budget right here. I thought I did, but I wanted to confirm that I've read through it. I'm not a budget expert, but I wanted to make sure that the Creeks Committee has an interest in the two parks project. And it looks like the two parks project is funded, I think in Fund 12, there's a provision both for the fiscal year, this fiscal year and the next fiscal year ending. But I want to confirm with you that I'm reading that correctly and that there is a provision in Fund 12 for both of those fiscal years. I think first year is 35,000, second year is 70,000. And I just wanted to confirm that, frankly, I'm reading that right. So I guess I'm asking a question is what it amounts to. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
There are no hands raised from our virtual audience, and I have no additional speaker slips for persons in the hall.
Thank you. Then in that case, to Mr. Clark's question, the two parks, that is a Fund 12 item. Just want a confirmation on that it is.
Okay, I think we are still in the process of the city fronted their money to this project, this year's budget, 23-24. I don't have a specific budget yet from the Parks Commission because I think we're still working on the design. And we're also ensuring that we're going to get the match funding before we commit another year of our funding. So technically, it is not in the budget because I don't have a number. However, the project is still going on. And as soon as we do have some figures, we can put that in really at any time, but we can always catch up on the final budget, which will be adopted in January.
Thank you for that. And I know that the All Ages Group did get some grant money from the Community Foundation, so that's still in flux too. So hopefully that answers your question, David. Okay, then if there are no more public comments, we'll bring it back to council. And are there any discussion items on the budget as revised and the resolution? All right.
I just like to thank the public for their letters this past weeks and that some have dived into more detail on how we can adjust our budget. We are looking for public feedback and we want to encourage the public to continue to engage on this topic. This is something that we really need everybody's input on, and we have received a wide range of feedback on everything from cost reductions. And we've heard today on, at the same time, there are many members of the public that would like to see more done in certain areas. I think this is the tension that we have to figure out. And I think the sooner we have this conversation and the more a richer conversation, I think it will help our city to make a better decision. So I just want to thank the public who has already engaged on this and encourage others to go to our website and continue to give us more feedback this summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Kwok. And as discussed earlier with the dates regarding the fiscal sustainability of considering a sales tax, that will also be on council discussions for the next couple of council meetings in July. So again, reiterate, we will welcome and encourage public comment. With that,
Okay, I move we adopt Resolution 2422, adopting the proposed budget/work plan. Should I read the whole rest of it too? That's sufficient. Good. Right.
Okay. There's a second.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
I am an aye. So that resolution is adopted.
Mayor Dawson,
Yes.
may I just say something? I just want to thank Tracy. She makes it seem effortless, but she has to put up with people submitting their budgets late, sometimes partially submitted. She has to crunch all the numbers and meet with us again. And she's been doing this for 25 years and is truly a master at the craft. So thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tracy.
Tracy. I know it is true. This is a lot over a long time to deal with. So thank you so much for that sustained effort, and we appreciate your work, and Jennifer and your support staff. Thank you so much. Okay, with that, we will move to item 15, written communications.
No,
Oh, am I missing
yeah,
something?
14.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I skipped way over that. There's no items removed from consent, so we're going to council and commission reports. Would council like to report on any activities since our last meeting?
Well, I will just start. I did, as city manager mentioned, I did attend the safety fair. Very impressive seeing not only, Lafayette Police, but your Confire was up there, search and rescue, East Bay Park. I mean, the fact that all the different groups were together and impressive display, and certainly I felt safer after seeing everything that was could be just kind of needed. If we need it, you've got it. So it's very exciting.
Yes, thank you for attending. And I spoke with Chief Aldred that morning, and I just want to give a shout out to all our partner agencies that were out there. That was really wonderful. It was a good, way to a show of force, basically. So many thanks for that.
I have a couple.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So first off, we all received an email from Don Walklett, who is one of our resident experts on fire safety, all things safety, and tech as well. And so I've followed up with him on a couple, and he sent me a full presentation on exactly what he meant, plus a letter to our insurance commissioner, Ricardo Laura, sorry. And I read them. They look extremely interesting. I also shared them last Friday at the ABAG meeting with Darlene G. from Orinda and Steve Werlicke from Moraga. And they are all thinking that if we can come in and write a big, nice, big letter to the insurance commissioner, that would be something interesting. So I would love for us to look at his proposal at a future meeting. I don't know exactly what the process is, whether it should first go to emergency prep and then to us. I guess that would be up to, city manager, or if it just should come back to us.
It's actually the council's direction, since the commissions are appointed by you. If you feel it's a matter of urgency and you would like it back on the next agenda, we can bring it back.
I don't think it's hugely urgent, and so it doesn't have to, if that's a really packed one, we can.
Then I would recommend that you take it to the commission first, or,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's great. And all right, so. Oh, no.
No, I was just saying that since it's not on the agenda, we wouldn't have you take action to send it to the commission first.
Okay.
You'd either bring that back on your agenda and then you could decide to send it to the commission for review, or you could take action accordingly.
Fantastic. So on our next agenda, but not maybe the next one,
Yeah.
could be the following.
Perhaps what I can do is talk to the police chief, and if you can send me the information and I can direct it to the commission.
Fantastic, will do. Okay, so that was one. And then I did go to the ABAG General Assembly meeting last Friday. The items themselves were extremely boring. It was just the budget. And that's unusual, I've got to say. I've been going to these for quite some time, and there's usually something, that we're looking at or voting on. It didn't happen this time. However, what did happen this year that was the first time I've seen it in all the bunch of years that I've been going is that after the executive director's report, people started standing up and asking ABAG, and going, hey, first one was, when are you guys going to start doing, pushing for RENA reform? When are you going to help us with builder's remedy projects? When are you going to help us with the appeal process through ABAG? I mean, they were coming at from all sorts of areas, and that was new. And I think that's good. Because, if it's the only way that we can get our voices out to ABAG, then that's the right thing. And so I hope that this is a new turn. Will there be more welcome to comments from the actual cities? Otherwise, it was not very. Anyways, okay. And then the other thing I did last week was I'm on the League Governance, Transparency, and Labor Relations Committee, and we had our, statewide meeting. And this was really interesting. A guy from Common Cause who is really focused on AI in, messing with our next election. And it's real and it is coming. And he is saying the federal government is not going to do anything about it before this next election. Our state government is not going to have time to do anything about it before this next election. So it's up to us. It is up to state, county and local folks to take this on, to educate the public on what this looks like and how to deal with it and recognize it. So I also shared that with Darlene G and Steve Werlicke. We would like to push our county, on Candace to do something county-wide so we don't all repeat ourselves. And this is going to be probably one of the most important public awareness campaigns, along with our, if we do our sales tax measure. It's one of our big awareness campaigns that we really must do for our residents. And the horror story is they need 3 minutes of one of our voices, our likenesses, in order to put, for all the people who run on the, running, to create a complete AI on you saying or doing something that you have never done. And he's like, it's not fake. This is real. It's going to come. And so how do we get, as Lafayette, how do we arm our citizens that this likely will happen? And, our city maybe needs a strategy to respond to it quickly and officially. And so these are the kind of things that we need to work out, I think, countywide. I think this is bigger than just our city. So I'm going to be pushing on that pretty hard.
I could see bringing that back to council so we can then, act on
Okay.
what would be next.
Why don't I
because
work with
yeah.
Candace? Let me reach out to Candace, if that would be okay, and see if they're planning on doing anything. And if they're not, it's like, and get a little bit more.
That would be great. Is that,
Sure.
okay,
Is that okay?
great. Thank you for the
You're
report.
welcome.
Any other reports? Okay. Then, are there any public comment on the council reports?
There are no public comments on council reports.
Thank you. Okay, then we will move on to item 14B, which is appointing members to the Emergency Prepared Commission. And we have 4 openings, basically, with reapplication dates up, and we had 6 applicants. And they're all wonderful. Much talent there and much interest and energy. We did have to make a decision to come to 4, and those that we are recommending is Duncan Siebert, George Vigone, Michael Melowitz, who have been serving on the Emergency Prep Commission, and new to the Emergency Prep Commission, Stephanie Bontemps. And Stephanie brings a experience in risk management. So it is a new angle for the emergency prep, and I think that will be great to add to that mix. Are there any questions or comments? Okay. Questions from the
The
public?
mayor and the council are taking comments on item 14B. I have no speaker slips and I have no hands raised.
Okay. In that case, I just want to thank again everybody who came out for those interviews. It was a hard choice because there's a lot of great people here willing to spend their time with us, but that's the recommendation.
Doing the vote.
Yes, I move that we appoint Duncan Seibert, George Vigone, Michael Melowitz, and Stephanie Bontemps to fill the 4 vacancies on the Emergency Preparedness Commission.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I am an aye. That is unanimous. Thank you to those new members. and renewed members. Item 14C, Council Member McCormick and Vice Mayor Kwok, Crime Prevention Commission appointment.
All right, we also have one vacancy. We have a vacancy on the Crime Prevention Commission, and we had interviewed one applicant, Cam Burks, who was also former mayor and council member. And we would recommend that the council appoint Cam Burks to fill this vacancy.
Thank you. Any public comment or council comment? Okay,
The council is taking public comments on item 14C. And Mayor Dawson, there are no speaker slips and no hands raised.
wonderful. Is there a second to the recommendation?
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we welcome Cam Burks back to the fold. So, former mayor and council member, so that's wonderful. Appreciate his service. Okay, and next, myself and Councilmember Ndori, we had interviews for the Planning Commission. And at this time, we are recommending reappointing the current Planning Commission member, Stephen LeBong. He has been serving, and we appreciate his service, and we'll appreciate his ongoing willingness and efforts going forward to serve on that commission. May I have a public comments on that?
The mayor and council are taking public comments on item 14D1. And Mayor Dawson, I have no speaker slips and no hands raised.
All right. May I have a second on that recommendation?
I second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
And I am an aye. That's unanimous. We will, Stephen LeBong, reappoint him to the Planning Commission. Next, Councilmember Andori and I interviewed for an opening for Senior Services Commission. And Conrad Reese, who currently serves on Senior Services Commission, reapplied. And we are making the recommendation to reappoint him. Wonderful, brings much experience and great spirit to that group. So we are glad to make that recommendation. Are there any public comments?
The mayor and council are taking public comments on item 14D2. Mayor Dawson, there are no speaker slips and no hands raised.
Right, may I have a second for the recommendation to appoint Conrad Reese to the Senior Services
I
Commission?
second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I am an aye. We welcome back Conrad Reese to the Senior Services Commission. And we'll move on to written communications. And we did receive a resignation letter from Christy Mack. We thank her very much for her 2 years of service. She's going to continue some education, and we're proud of her and grateful to her for her service on the Public Art Committee. And I don't believe we need public comment on that. Correct. Okay. The next is written communications from our Parks and Recreation instructor, request to for a proclamation recognizing July 2024 as Parks, Trails, and Recreation Month in Lafayette. Are there any questions or comments from council on this item? No. Are there public comments?
The mayor,
Gesundheit.
gonna be next. The mayor and council are taking comments on item 15B, and I have no speaker slips and I have no hands raised in our virtual audience.
Then we are very glad. Any other comments on that discussion about that? Okay.
Do we want to vote on that?
Yes, let's vote on that. Any motion?
Sure. I move that the city of Lafayette proclaim, let's see, the month of July 2024 as Parks, Trails, and Recreation Month in Lafayette.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I am an aye. Thank you very much, Dr. Katniagi, for bringing this up, because we definitely want to celebrate that Parks, Trails, and Rec. That is adopted proclamation, and we will celebrate that in July. Okay. With that, we will move to adjournment, and I would like to adjourn in memory of Mary Bruns, who was such a wonderful advocate for senior services and improving the quality of life for them, particularly through the transportation services and coordinating transportation for seniors. So we appreciate her and honor her, and our condolences to the family. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we are adjourned.
45.
That's quick.